रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा सीताराम। सीताराम सीताराम भज प्यारे तो 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 सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन 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 सीताराम। ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरे नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। 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 रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। मंदिर मस्जिद तेरे धाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। मंदिर मस्जिद तेरे धाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। रघुपति राघव
Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sitaram.
सत्य अहिंसा तेरे नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान
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 रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
राम 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 श्री राम 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 नाम तारकं राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकं राम नाम तारकं राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकं श्री राम 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 नाम तारकं राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायकं
राम कृष्ण वासुदेव भक्ति मुक्तिदायक
श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 लोकाभिरामरणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पते नमः श्री राम जय जय राम विभो घनश्याम सज्जन मनोभिराम दुख विराम परात्पराधाम राम 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 Radiant immortal Atman, beloved and blessed children of light, among the various annual days celebrated or observed in India, among the various anniversaries celebrated and observed in India throughout the length and breadth of the land. one of the important ones, not only culturally, emotionally, but even nationally. One of the important anniversaries, 2nd of October, the auspicious birthday of the great souled patriot, saint, social worker, dedicated seeker, and the champion of the oppressed, upholder of virtue, embodiment of dharma, Mahatma Gandhi. His name is M.K. Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Belonged to lesser known part of the western Indian state of Gujarat. Gujarat is above the state of Maharashtra, whose capital city is very well known all over the world as Bombay, which is upon the western coast of India. The India of the southern regions rather than the India of the northern regions. Bombay could be said to be a little below the midriff of the Indian map. And Bombay is the capital of the state of Maharashtra. And adjoining it and to its north lies this western Indian state. And a good part of its western border being the western seashore. The western most limits of the state of Gujarat in that region could be likened to the states of Oregon and Washington to the North American continent, where America ends and Canada begins. These two states are like the states of Maharashtra and Gujarat, because after Gujarat, in the western area, India ends and the southwestern sea line of Pakistan commences. Where Gujarat ends, to the west, Pakistan commences. Having as its most important port the city of Karachi, which once upon a time belonged to India. And Gandhiji belongs to a little known western town upon the western seaboard of Gujarat state. It's the town of Porbandar, the harbour town. In his days, there was no harbour, only sail ship, cargo ship used to ply. And this is that area of water which separates Arabia and India, and therefore it's called the Arabian Sea. The Suez Canal opens into it. The southern border of Arabia, Saudi Arabia, also is its northern limit, the northern limit of the Arabian Sea. Northern limit of the Arabian Sea is Saudi Arabia, Aden, Bahrain, and Pakistan. Then curving down south towards Gujarat, then Bombay, then Goa and Kerala. That is, he was born in Porbandar, a small town at that time, but a seaport town and a fishing town. And I forgot which year he was born. It should have been the 1860s maybe. Maybe 1869. He was born to devout parents who were believers. His faith in God brought up the little child in a pious way. And he was destined to be the single great personality that was the very personification of patriotism, loved his country, and by a curious set of circumstances became the champion of the liberation of India from British rule. And therefore he is called the father of the nation. But he was a benign father of the nation. He was not like Lenin, who brought independence for Russia from the rule of the Tsar's royal family. But he brought independence, made Russia independent, shook off the monarchy of the Tsarist family by wading through a sea of blood, through merciless massacre of millions of white Russians and the upper classes. Practically, it was an independent nation that was born out of death, born out of carnage, born out of hatred, violence, murder, bloodshed, merciless butchery of people, and fear, born out of fear, hatred, violence, and intense cruelty. Therefore, it has never prospered. People have never been really happy. Fear has never left the psyche of the normal Russian citizen. They lived in fear. Before they could say anything, they had to look behind. There's someone was observing, look behind the shoulder, over the shoulder. Why? Because it was not born, or it was born in an asuric way. I can say this only to an audience like you. Otherwise, they wouldn't make head or tail of what I was speaking. It was that free nation was born in the asuric way, through darkness, not through light. Those who have a grasp of the yoga, of the division between the divine and the demonical, the 16th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I believe in your attempt to go through the entire 18 chapters of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, during the last week of September, you could cover up till the 15th chapter and did not proceed further. And the yoga of the division between the divine and the demonical is in the 16th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Daivya Asuri Sampat Vibhaga Yoga. The independence that Mahatma Gandhi tried to bring to India and succeeded in his attempt was an independence that arose out of faith in God, firm adherence to the principles of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and regular, unfailing daily prayer, morning and evening. Regular, unfailing daily prayer, in which hymns glorifying God, prayerful chants supplicating God feature, in which repetition of Ram Nam feature, in which the recitation of certain select verses of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita feature, in which the recitation of certain Upanishadic texts feature, and in which a period of silent inner prayer, meditation also feature, and in which also the chanting of kirtan of this particular kirtan, Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram. This particular kirtan tune also featured. They were invariable features of Mahatma Gandhi's daily prayer, morning and evening. His morning prayers were confined to his ashram. Soon after he returned to India from South Africa, he did not set up home. He founded an ashram and started living in a small community of dedicated selfless workers, dedicated to the service of the holy masses of India and dedicated to working for independence, self-sufficiency, independence. First of all, he said economic independence. Each village should be self-sufficient. They should spin their own yarn, weave their own clothes. They should not purchase cloth. God has given you hands and feet. You are farmers. Grow your own cotton, spin your own yarn, weave your own cloth. Be independent regarding one of the first stern necessities of physical living, clothing. In this way, he wanted every step. The village should be totally self-sufficient, dependent upon itself for whatever it wants to live. Thus he started living in an ashram on the banks of a river near the then industrial textile city of Ahmedabad, which is even today the capital of the state of Gujarat. The river was called Sabarmati. So he was even later on called the Saint of Sabarmati. On the banks of the Sabarmati river, the big city of Gujarat. On the bank, outside, on the opposite side of the city was along one bank, he lived on the other bank, so that to be away from, now of course the city has expanded, gone beyond the other bank also. In those days, it was a lonely, solitary place. There were steaming millions in the city on the opposite bank, attained by a bridge. And the evening prayer was thrown open to the public. All could attend, without any distinction of higher, lower, caste or creed or color or anything, religion. All could attend. And as a little part of the prayer, there featured a few lines from the Quran, a few lines from the Bible, a few lines from the Japanese Shinto prayer, a few lines from the Buddhist prayer, a few lines from the Jain prayer, everything. Hindu prayer, Christian prayer, Muslim prayer, Jain prayer, Buddhist prayer, Shinto prayer. It was a universal type of prayer. And ending in silent meditation. And the singing of some bhajans. And his favorite bhajan, I will try to sing to you in the evening satsang tonight. He's called the father of the nation. He became a legendary figure in his own times. He made history in his own times. He gave to the world, global humanity, in this modern era, several ideals. He called Bhagavad Gita his mother. He said, Bhagavad Gita is more to me, my mother. She has ever been the solace of a time of distress. She has been a joy to me in the time of the happiness. And she has been my unfailing guide, friend and philosopher. Never failed me at any time. Even when I was vexed with the most complex problems, I was near to despair. Gita has taken me out of my despair. Like that he used to adore Gita, worship Gita, revere Gita. And all his sayings about the Gita were compiled later on into book form, captioned Gita the Mother by Mahatma Gandhi. And another book was compiled out of all his sayings regarding Ram Nam. The title was Ram Nam by Mahatma Gandhi. And the way of life he proclaimed throughout the length and breadth of India was similar. A way of early morning prayer, a way of chanting the name of God in community. Collective chanting of Ram Nam, Raghupati Raghava Rajaram. And each village, each town was encouraged. In a town, all localities were encouraged. The residents there to get up very early in the morning, come and gather together in a public place and go round their own locality chanting in unison Raghupati Raghava Raja, Patita Pavana Sitaram. Thus to open the day, herald the new day through a small kirtan procession going around their own little locality. And he called it Prabhat Pehari. Pehari means going around. Prabhat means dawn. The dawn procession of chant of God's name, Prabhat Pehari. This he instituted throughout the length and breadth of India during this movement. Silent revolution. He offered passive non-resistance to the British government. He said, we do not accept your law. I shall break your law. If you say salt was taxed, he protested. He said, the lowest of the low, without salt they cannot eat their food. Supposing they have nothing to eat. Some boiled rice maybe. If they don't have salt, how can they eat? Maybe they sustain themselves sometimes only upon potatoes. Without a pinch of salt, how can they eat? And you tax it? He said, this is not tax. He is living upon the blood of the poor people. Their hunger, they are exploiting their hunger. It is illegal, it is unethical, it is atrocious. So I shall go and manufacture salt and sell it. So he walked miles and miles, he led a big procession to the seaside. And all went equipped with either fire or fuel and some vessel or a stove, kerosene stove, matchbox, fire, and a vessel. The fact was collect seawater in a vessel and start boiling it. Okay. Go on boiling it until it evaporates and salt is left at the bottom of the vessel. And it's all symbolic. Take it up in a piece of paper, make a packet of it, and hold aloft. Salt for sale. Okay. Duty free. Salt. I shall not pay taxes. So it was called this passive non-resistance, defying the might of a mighty imperial power. It was called Satyagraha. Okay. Bringing force to the power of truth. See? Compelling someone to yield, sheerly through the power of truth, not through arms, not through physical strength, sheerly through the power of truth. Satyagraha. He made this concept of Satyagraha a great name, a great significant symbol. Passive non-resistance, it was called. And throughout this struggle against the British power, in his heart there was no rancor, there was no hatred, there was no hard feelings. Always. He was on the friendliest, most cordial and friendliest of terms. Not only with the British people, but with each and every member of the imperial government itself. Those who arrested volunteers, who offered as put them in jail, even delivered them to staff. With them also, his dealing was the most cordial, most polite, most courteous. He raised aloft an ideal and showed an example in his own practical personal life, which was the loftiest, the sublimest. After Jesus Christ, one could say that his life demonstrated return good for evil and depend upon God for all things. Prayer, Ramana, Gita. That was Mahatma Gandhi to the Indian psyche of that time. And early in his life he started repeating the name Ram, 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 Ram. It came about in a very curious way. He had to go to school on foot. It was a small place. And there was one stretch on the way which was lonely. He had to pass through outskirts of the village. School was several miles away. Maybe it took 40 minutes, 45 minutes walk. In that particular stretch where he passed, there was also a burial ground, maybe a crematorium, cremation ground. And people are always scared to pass by where the dead are disposed of. And while returning from school in the evenings, if it happened to be winter time, short days and long nights, and nightfall was early, and that time he was gripped with fear while crossing that lonely stretch. And by the time he reached home, he was almost a nervous wreck. He was devastated. And he dared not say this to anyone. And the parents had appointed a little village woman to look after him. He was his nurse, Aya, nurse. One day, she found her little ward almost in tears, trembling. When he returned, and she was to give him some snack to eat, change his clothes. He was on the verge of tears and trembling. She inquired, "What is the matter? Why are you like this?" He confessed to her, "I'm frightened to come alone in that spot." She was a wise person, discerning person. She understood. She said, my boy, why should you be frightened? Don't you know that you are never alone? You are never alone. God is with you. What is there to fear? I said, "Is he?" "Yes. But how does he know my fear? How can I call him?" She said, "You invoke him with his name, then he is by your side. Nothing to fear." What is the name she gave him? Ram. Ram. Repeat Ram, Ram. I will tell you. It's an unfailing strength, protection, support. Unfailing in its effect. It will give you courage, it will give you strength. Nothing can come near Ram now. It is so powerful, so sacred, so holy. It is a divine name. And invoke God to this name, and God is by your side. Nothing to fear. From that day, fear left Mahatma Gandhi. Little boy, Mohandas. Going to school, coming to school, he started the habit of repeating Ram, 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 Ram. He said, from that day, I had no fear, and this habit never left me. It has remained with me throughout my life. Long past middle age, he was an old man, he used to say, this Ram Nam that has been my constant companion, never failed. And the second anniversary that is observed as a national holiday in India is the 30th of January, the month of January, when he lost his life and died just as he was approaching the place of prayer that evening. He was held up by some important consultations with political people. Then he saw it was time for prayer. He was a very punctual man, not like me. And he said, I must immediately go. He held out his pocket watch to his visitor. This was some important man. And then started to go. So from his room, he stepped out into the garden. Prayer was in the open. He was going towards, people had massed together already there for the evening prayer. Everyone else was ready. The people who sing the bhajan, the musician, everyone was ready. People were all waiting. But they were wondering, today, how come Mahatmaji is a little late? Otherwise, he was always punctual, on the dot, a minute or two before time, to commence the prayer correctly. He did not, then he came. And as he was approaching the place where he had to take a seat, he was shot. And it was Ram that came out of his mouth when his body dropped dead. The last thing he uttered in his life was Ram. Just as one would say, "Oh Lord." He said, "Hey Ram, hey Ram." And on the spot where he fell, where his blood spattered upon the ground, they have put a marble tablet there in that place, the sacred place of pilgrimage, and they have inscribed, "Hey Ram," 30th of January. It remained with him lifelong, and it remained with him at the moment of departing from the world, Ram Nam. This is Mahatma Gandhi. Not only a political figure, not only a social figure, not only a great patriot, not only a great son of India, but a great saint, a great devotee of the Lord. And forever he has held aloft this great principle of non-violence, non-retaliation, non-violence. Work on through soul force, not through physical force. That was Mahatma Gandhi. He said, physical force. What is it? Even strong jungle beasts use physical force. See? Might is right is the law of the jungle, not worthy of man, not befitting man, made in the image of God. For him, right should be the might that he evokes, the power of truth, power of prayer, power of love. What was read from Dhammapada yesterday, not by hatred is hatred overcome here in this world, but by love hatred is overcome. This was literally born out of Mahatma Gandhi throughout his life. He had no enemies. It is this dual anniversary that is observed as a national holiday in India. Day of his martyrdom, 30th of January, and day of his birth, 2nd of October. They are national holidays. And today, throughout the length and breadth of India, millions will be chanting Ram Nam, millions will be reading the Bhagavad Gita, millions will be silently and prayerfully be engaged in spinning yarn, and millions will be reading the Bhagavad Gita. And there will be hundreds and thousands of early morning processions chanting Ragupati Raghava Rajaram throughout India, from the the Himalayas right up till Cape Comorin, Kanyakumari. In every town, city, village, this was the impact of Mahatma Gandhi upon all young, old, women, children, men and children. He has been permanently enshrined in the memory of the entire nation, acclaimed as the great prophet of peace and non-violence in our own century, 20th century. We are happy to say these few words as a tribute to his sacred memory upon this morning of his birth anniversary today, Tuesday, 2nd of October 1990. Long may his memory live, long may his ideals guide humanity upon the right path. Long may his illustrious example enshrine in the hearts of people. Love for prayer, Ramana, Bhagavad Gita. And the triple principles, the ethical principles he proclaimed for all, whole of India and the whole of world. Non-violence, truth and self-control, purity of conduct and character. A pervasive purity, not self-control in the sense of sex control only, no, far from it. Self-control in the form of a complete control of your entire being, all the senses, your entire being, body, mind, intellect, self-control, pervasive self-control. Now, moderation in all things. Control of the tongue, control of the eye, control of the ear, control of all the senses. And moderation in all sense enjoyments. Moderation in all sense enjoyments. Satyam, ahimsa, satyam, brahmacharya. This was the triple virtue he proclaimed to the whole length and breadth of India of his time. Non-violence, truthfulness, and self-control, moderation, conquest of self. His teachings in this, and he was a prolific writer, and his voluminous correspondence with so many people who asked him questions on all. The most peculiar part of it was he had a voluminous correspondence where people asked him questions about ethics, questions about self-development, questions about ideas of life. Far from discussing with him only politics or nationalism, so independence. These were also issues about which people wrote to him and asked him questions. But they asked him more questions about private, personal life, ethical life, all these things. And he answered them. They have all been compiled. One book that came out of his writings, he was publishing a weekly journal also called the Harijan, and in that he stated all his views upon contemporary problems and matters, topics, Harijan, and then through correspondence they have been compiled together many years ago as a book called Self-Restraint versus Self-Indulgence. Self-Restraint versus Self-Indulgence. It was issued in 2 volumes. Now it is available in a single volume. Self-restraint versus self-indulgence. So he was a many-sided ideal, His personality was a many-sided personality. He was engaged in service in so many fields, selfless, dedicated service in so many fields. Therefore, no wonder that people began to regard him and to address him as great-souled one. Mahatma. Mahatma means great soul. Great soul. Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Serve, love, give, purify, meditate, realize. Serve, love,
give, purify, meditate, realize.
serve, love, give, purify, meditate, realize.
Serve, love, give, purify, meditate, realize.
Be good, do good. Be kind, be compassionate.
Be good, do good, be kind, be compassionate.
Practice ahimsa, satyam and brahmacharya.
Practice ahimsa, satyam and brahmacharya.
This is the foundation of yoga and Vedanta.
This is the foundation of yoga and Vedanta.
Practice non-injury, truth and chastity. Practice non-injury, truth and chastity. This is the essence of religion and spirituality. This is the essence of religion and
spirituality.
Inquire, who am I? Know thyself and be free.
Inquire, who am I? Know thyself and be free.
Inquire, who am I? Know thyself and be free.
Inquire, who am I? Know thyself and be free.
You are not this body, not this mind, immortal self you are. You are not this body,
not this mind, immortal self you are.
You are not this body, not this mind, immortal Atman.
You are not this body, not this mind, immortal Atman.
Radiant Atman.
Radiant Atman.
Realize this and be free.
Realize this and be free.
This is your duty, foremost duty, therefore do it now.
This is your duty, foremost duty, therefore do it now.
Do not postpone.
Do not postpone.
Serve, love, give, purify, meditate, realize. Serve, love, give,
purify, meditate, realize.
be good, do good, be kind, be compassionate.
Be good, do good, be kind, be compassionate.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Shri Ram, Jaya Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jaya Ram.
Shri Ram, Jaya Ram, Jaya Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jaya Ram.
Om Shri Sharavana Bhavaya Namaha.
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 Om Shri Sharavana Bhavaya
Om Shri Sharavana Bhavaya Namaha.
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 Om Ram 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 Ram. Trembakam yajamhe sugandhim pushtivardanam urvarvakame bandhanam mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Trambakam yajamhe sugandhim pushtivardanam urvarvakame bandhanam mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Trambakam yajamhe sugandhim pushtivardanam urvarvakame bandhanam mrityormukshiyamamritat. Hari Om. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Om. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasyat Prabhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Satyamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityo Ma Mritamgamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace unto all beings in this universe, and peace be unto you all. That's it. Paramatma. Good morning. Bol Mahatma Gandhi ki Jai. How do you do, Paul? You came yesterday. What is that, Paul?
He came yesterday. I think they're coming at 9:30. Yeah, because they went back to the house.
I saw
He
them
was there
sitting
yesterday,
there.
yeah.
So, and as I was telling quite a while after something last night, I thought maybe perhaps you'd come up and talk to me. And then I forgot about it. Then I asked Vimalana, why did you not go and tell him? But I just brought him down. Maybe he felt whether it was right or not, right thing to do or not.